Straight ahead on CCX News, big plans for a Crystal Park. The proposed destination playground and why it's taking a village to build it. Plus, releasing your inner lumberjack. We're at the State Fair to try log rolling. And theater for the youngest of the young. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. A partnership between the City of Crystal and local businesses aims to make Becker Park a destination park for the city.
In order to make that dream a reality, the hope is to build an inclusive playground that will serve as the new centerpiece of Becker Park. But it will require a massive fundraising effort. Delane Cleveland joins us now to explain. Delane?
Alex and Shannon, Becker Park has always been a go-to spot for sporting events. It's primarily known for hosting the annual Crystal Frolics softball tournament, but outside of that, it's underutilized.
What we're looking to do for Becker Park is to have a totally new vision that will encompass, really the focus is going to be on bringing people together. So large playground, splash pad, performance area, and just a lot of place for people to have a picnic or gather.
Planning is underway on a $2.5 million redesign of Becker Park. The plan calls for the removal of fences and the addition of more picnic areas. But the big goal is to construct a playground that would be accessible to children of all abilities, similar to the one at Maple Grove's Central Park. The price tag on that playground is an estimated $600,000. Several local businesses have begun fundraising efforts to help pay for the project.
Really, all of them have come to us saying that they heard about the project, they want to, how can we help? And that's just been great.
One easy way to help is to eat at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Crystal. Between now and August 31st, if you dine there and tell your server that you're part of Team City of Crystal, then 10% of your purchase will go toward the funding of Becker Park's new playground. Shannon?
All right, thank you, Delane. Brooklyn Center Police arrested a man accused of impersonating a state trooper. According to the criminal complaint, 19-year-old Tyler Nagel brought a young woman to a Brooklyn Center car dealership. He said he went there to do a stakeout and told the woman there was a dangerous situation. When real police showed up, they arrested Nagel and found a samurai sword and a jacket with a badge in his car. Nagel told police he did it to impress the woman.
Osseo may add another police officer to their force. The City Council will discuss the addition of another full-time officer as part of next year's budget. Osseo currently has 4 full-time officers, 10 part-time officers, and a chief. The chief said the time is right to consider adding on to their department. A Plymouth flower grower is turning heads at the Minnesota State Fair.
It's very magical in that, which is really nice.
Roses is one of 8 vendors participating in the Floral Palooza exhibit, which celebrates the 4 seasons. The Busch Roses display is called Woodland Frost, and it features pines and white gladiolus flowers along with a little holiday bling too. The display caught the attention of many fairgoers, including a master gardener from Maple Grove.
This is beautiful. This is really nice. I like that they use white daisies to kind of like enhance the beauty of using white glads and the whole look. It's just kind of Christmassy, but yet, like I said, you can still use it for fall.
You can see the display at the Agricultural Horticulture Building.
And here is another impressive display. Several people from the Northwest Metro are winners at the crop seed art competition at the fair. They really got creative, turning seeds into flowers, a gopher, and an intricate face mask. Joanna Sorensen of Robbinsdale made a creative scarecrow. We think that he's a coffee drinker. The crop art and scarecrow exhibit is also located in the Agriculture Horticulture Building. Many fairgoers are releasing their inner lumberjack skills by log rolling.
Golden Valley-based Key Log Rolling Company has been at the fair for 3 years. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us how they are teaching people young and old how to enjoy the unique sport.
The State Fair crowd is large, and there's plenty of things to see and do, including a new twist on an old sport.
There it is. Yeah, nice. That's it.
Some call Minnesota the Mecca of log rolling, and many folks are trying it out at the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
This is the most fun thing to do at the state fair. It's a blast.
If you don't mind getting wet, this is the place to cool off and get a good workout.
It's so much fun. We call it a workout without the work. Watch the other end.
But log rolling is tricky.
The 3 trainers help you get your footwork down and find your balance.
Fair goers try to stay on a 65-pound synthetic log that's filled with water. Golden Valley company Key Log Rolling specializes in these types of logs.
So it spins like a Western red cedar log rolling log, and then you're ready to roll. And then when you want to take it out of the water, you just drain it, and it's 65 pounds, and you can, take it away.
We caught up with a few fair goers who were willing to give log rolling a try.
Erica, let's see Erica run the plant, everyone. First-time log roller.
Erica Milhofer was one of them.
She's doing it! I love it. Here we go.
Trainers are in the water helping to steady the log.
The trainers really slow down the log for you so that everybody can learn to log roll.
As you can see, it didn't take her long to get the hang of spinning the log.
Very natural! Woo!
Erica says the key was to keep your feet moving.
I play soccer, so it's kind of easy.
Key Log Rolling says they hope to get fair goers interested enough to try the sport long after the fair is over.
It's just a thrilling sport that people love to watch and they love to compete in.
At the Minnesota State Fair, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
And if you would like to give log rolling a try, Key Log Rolling is located in the Northwood section of the fair on the east side of Cooper Street between Lee and Randall Avenues. Still ahead on CCX News, a play for the very young at Stages Theater.
Plus, a new coach leads the Park Center football team into the season. We'll have a preview of the Pirates.
But first, summer will make her presence felt by the end of the weekend. Highs will creep in back close to 90 degrees.
Trains and the railroad is a topic that fascinates young and old alike.
Stages Theater Company is aiming for the very young in their latest production. Neil Persley gives us a taste of On the Railroad in today's Weekend Showcase.
I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day.
I am looking to bring theater to the age group and make it for them as they interact with the world.
Stages Theater is in its 4th year offering theater for the very young. This summer's show is called On the Railroad and is geared toward children 0 to 4.
2 or 3-year-olds are not really just tiny adults. They interact with the world in a different way. They learn in a different way. They learn by playing, by multi-sensory ways, by smelling things, by putting things in their mouths, all those things that we don't do anymore as adults.
Theater for the very young meets these kids right where they're at in their stage of development, and it's a mixture of play and fun and storytelling. The show is very interactive and alternates between times of sitting still, listening, and watching, and then getting up and doing. It was almost as much fun for the parents and grandparents as it was the toddlers.
I do know that kids get obsessed with trains, and so it started with the song I've Been Working on the Railroad, and then we thought about how we could explore trains.
The young cast relates to the tots in a less adult way and establishes the role of an older playmate.
I personally love when a kid comes in and he or she's really shy, and then as you get to play out the show, they become more and more outgoing and they become more engaged in the show.
And I love when they get that jolt that they found out they know something, then they just want to tell you, and it's really fun because they're sitting next to you and they're like, oh, I know what's next. Oh, that's a stock car, or that's a box car.
For a Weekend Showcase from Stages Theater in Hopkins, Neil Persley, CCX News.
You can see On the Railroad with 3 shows on Saturday and 2 on Sunday at Stages Theater Company in Hopkins. And still ahead, we have a goodbye to say to someone. That's later in the show, but first...
Summer is not over yet. Terry Tuma drops by with his weekly fishing tip. Jay Wilcox is in next.
Saturday marks a big day for high school volleyball in the area. The Breakdown Side Out Classic returns to the Lindbergh Center at Hopkins High School.
You know, I think it's a great way to showcase the talent in the state of Minnesota. We have so many good volleyball players from Class A and AA and AAA, so I think it's fun, and you get matchups that you normally wouldn't see during your season, so it's fun to play new teams.
There are 17 matches in all on 3 courts at the Lindbergh Center starting at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. 3 of the matches involve local teams. Heritage Christian meets Ogilvie at 9 o'clock. Osseo plays Rosemont at 11. And in one of the marquee matches of the day, Champlin Park faces Hopkins at 7 p.m. And we'll have more on the Hopkins Royals next week here on CCX. Park Center opens the football season with a new head coach. The Pirates are looking to move up in the standings this fall. Here's today's training camp report. Former Park Center player Jordan Salas was an assistant for 11 years for the Pirates, and now he's in his first training camp leading the team.
Ups and downs, roller coaster, but I expected it. Just excited, you know, I'm still excited. Kids are coming. We're getting more and more signing up every day. That's a good sign, and overall grade, I'd say a B.
It's been a grind, I'll tell you that. He's working us real hard. He's coming in with high expectations, and our seniors are looking to match that and pass that down to the rest of the team. So,
the numbers are up overall for the Pirates. They have some good athletes to build around, including linebacker running back Shantez Hester, speedy running back Emmanuel Tamba, defensive back wide receiver Dominic Thies, offensive and defensive lineman Jason Flores, and quarterback Tanner Stein. Several position groups are looking solid.
Our defense is pretty good this year. Our safeties, our DBs are very disciplined. So our defense will be pretty good this year, I believe.
Running backs, O-line, I think our O-line is going to be real solid. Definitely our running backs, we got 3 good ones in the stable, and our wide receivers. So overall offense and quarterback too.
Park Center won 3 games last fall and 1 the year before. That's not the level they want to be at.
Statement year. It's definitely a statement year. We got a lot to prove. Knowing a lot of teams don't respect us because of our record probably the last 2 years, but we're ready to make a statement.
I think we're going to compete. I think that people are going to be pleasantly surprised in the community to see the type of product we're going to put on the field. I mean, I think every coach would say 500, but, you know, me being ambitious, I'd like to shoot for the stars. You know, undefeated is always nice, but I think we have an opportunity to have a winning record. I do.
It'll take hard work, but Jordan Salas and his staff are determined to build a winner at Park Center. The Pirates were 3-7 last fall, but did close strong, upsetting Irondale and then giving eventual section champ St. Louis Park a tough game in the playoffs. 5 starters are back on each side of the ball. Park Center hosts Cooper in the season opener next Friday in a game you can see live here on CCX. There's still plenty of good fishing weather to come this summer in Minnesota. And this week's CCX Sports Fishing Tip, Terry Tuma talks about using swim baits for catching bass.
Someone asked me the other day about using swim baits. Do you use them? And I said, absolutely yes. And there's going to be certain time frames that we're going to use certain conditions. But with a swim bait, different sizes, different weights, different colors, different profiles. And, you know, really this is a search bait. And so I'm just going to cast it out and sort of a do-nothing retrieve where you just cast it out and you just retrieve it very, very slowly depending on the speed itself. And as you can see, I'm using a spinning rod and spinning reel, and I'm also using a braided line for these kind of conditions. And here too, when you're talking about using swimmer bait, just, you know, sure, you can cast it out and retrieve it, cast it out and retrieve it, but do vary, and I'll cast again. And you can also, with a swim bait, you can also vary your retrieve. You can use a rip stop, stop and go. If you're fishing some weedy areas, you can you know, bounce it off a weed stalk. There are so many variations of retrieves, so don't just get hung up on just a single cast, retrieve, cast and retrieve. And make sure you cast in the right direction, change your positions, but bass change their position throughout a given day, depending on weather conditions, fishing pressure.
Thanks, Terry, and that's all for sports. Back to you.
Well, up next, we have a story we haven't really been looking forward to. We say a see you later to our friend Alexandra when we come back. And And finally, a farewell to a friend and colleague. My companion next to me, Alexandra Renslow, is leaving CCX News and pursuing a second act. She is following in the footsteps of her parents by going back to school to become a teacher. And for all of her future students out there, we thought we'd leave you with 3 things you need to know about Miss Renslow.
Amid the chaos that is a high school cafeteria, first, Alexandra has always been a reporter who likes to tell a good story. And she's told her fair share. Hope is on display.
You guys buy a shirt, you guys can still vote for the hair color.
Her 2010 story, Hair Dye for Haiti, that followed a Maple Grove High School student's creative fundraising efforts, won a 2010 Regional Emmy for Story of the Year.
Not all the training is this intense. There are many other soldiers that will be stationed in Kuwait.
In 2011, she went in depth with the National Guard for a series of deployment stories as soldiers prepared for Operation New Dawn.
When you wear a beautiful sari like this.
And as our Business Matters reporter, every week Alexandra profiled local companies and explained trends that impacted businesses right here at home.
And we've got, I think, Alexandra Renslow.
Second, Alexandra has a heart for the community. Whether it's riding and waving in parades,
She has been involved in numerous activities in school,
recognizing students at banquets, or just donating her time to connect with schools and nonprofits.
All summer long, if you adopt one cat,
Alexandra doesn't hesitate to give back. And finally, Alexandra is the official CCX Media giver of high fives.
High five! High five!
She believes a good high five can make any day better. So don't hesitate to give Miss Renslow a high five when you pass her in the hall. And tell her it's from her friends here at CCX Media.
We are going to miss you. I don't know if I can get through this. You've done so much for us, and we are cheering you on.
Thank you very much. And all I will say is I leave with nothing but gratitude. I'm so excited about the next chapter, so excited to work with kids. But what you don't see when you see stories on air is all the people behind the scenes that hustle every day to get the story on air. So I want to say thank you to all the talented people I've worked here, and thank you so much for those watching at home. It has been truly an honor and a privilege to do this job and to be trusted with your stories. So I have learned so much, but I am so excited about the future.
Yes.
So
you've done a great service for our cities and our communities. So I know we all appreciate you and say thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for doing that wonderful piece.
Yes, and one more high five.
One more high five.
Yes, so if you
high
see
fives
Alex in the
all
community, give her a high five.
Love giving high fives.
That's all the time we have for now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Learn lots, and hopefully we'll see you down the road.